Good morning, YouTube. Today's video is a bit of a rant about Comcast Business Internet and their recent / ongoing email migration, which they talk about here. This is one of the many emails I've received over the last 4 months about this. So a little background, I've been running a home business for the last 16 years. And I used to have Comcast residential internet service. And then about 2007, I decided to switch over to Comcast business internet. So definitely the support side of the business class seems to be quite a bit better on the internet, and even for email, you can get help with that. And one of the big features that the business class internet offered was that you could set up a custom domain for your business. And they had what they called a hosted exchange server that you could set up for email if you used Microsoft Outlook for your email. I believe at the time Comcast had a customized version of Outlook you could download that worked with this hosted exchange server. I wasn't interested in that, but the one feature I was interested in was that they offered IMAP server support for email instead of just POP. And that's all that was offered on the residential internet was POP, but on the business side you could do POP or IMAP. And I really like IMAP. The big advantage that IMAP gives you is if you read your email on, say, one PC and then you log out and then you go to another device, or you access the email over the web, that status of that email shows up. If I've already read it on one device, it's been read on all devices. I use Mozilla Thunderbird for email, and they do pretty good with IMAP. And that was around 2007 when I switched. And just as a reference point, if you look back at Gmail, for instance, they started offering Gmail late 2004, early 2005. And then it was in the 2007 and 2008 time frame that Gmail introduced an IMAP server. So that was kind of where things were at. And then sometime in April, I got a postal letter as well as this email. And they said, as a follow-up to our original communication, Microsoft is replacing the hosted Exchange email platform with Microsoft Office 365. And so it says Comcast Business will be retiring Microsoft hosted Exchange email, and the new platform will be Office 365. So I guess I interpreted that as meaning, well, if you use this hosted Exchange email server with Microsoft Outlook, that's going to change to using the version of Outlook that's included in Office 365, neither of which I used. It said here about opting in to schedule your migration. No mention here about POP or IMAP or any other email clients. So it sounded to me like this only dealt with if you had set up an Exchange server on your custom business domain. They were migrating that. I didn't do that, so I didn't think I had to migrate anything. So that was that email. My migration was scheduled August 11th, and in August I was getting probably 2 emails a day. And they were typically like this: download Outlook Assistant. Right here, if you do not use Outlook to read emails, please disregard this notice. And I don't use Outlook. I disregarded the notice, but I did actually try this. I tried downloading this Outlook Assistant, and it doesn't work for me because I don't have an Outlook account to migrate. And again, no mention of IMAP or POP email servers in here. I disregarded the message, but sure enough, Friday, August 11th at 10 a.m., my emails stopped being updated. I was busy with other stuff during the day, and then it was noon, time for lunch, and came back and did some work in the shop, and I think I came back around 3 p.m. and had noticed I haven't had any emails come in for 5 hours, which is pretty strange. Then I looked back at this email. Oh, call between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern. Well, it was 3 p.m. Pacific times. I missed the office hours of this Comcast Business Cloud Solutions support people. So, like I say, I missed that window to call these guys, but I went over to their web page here. This is their Cloud Solutions Marketplace, and it's got the same number, the same hours, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern, and I thought, oh, support. Maybe they have some support information. Here's their support page. Overview of the marketplace, how to buy things, how to use the applications you purchased, how to cancel your account, upgrade, downgrade, manage user access to cloud solutions applications. Well, I don't have any of those applications. Where's email? Where's IMAP support? Where's all that? I couldn't find any of that information here. And then probably between 7 and 8 o'clock at night, I ended up calling the Comcast business support number, and they checked into the problems. I reported no email updates, and they go, oh, your email's been migrated, and we can't look at it anymore. I was kind of puzzled by that. What does that mean? And he said, well, we'll forward your ticket over to the Cloud Solutions support people, but they don't come in till Monday morning at 9 a.m. This was Friday night, and it's like, what am I going to do in the meantime? Well, I managed to get in and figure out some of the things myself. I was able to log into my own Office 365 account on Microsoft, and they gave me a temporary password in one of the Comcast emails. I was able to use that password on the Office 365 account and get access to my, quote, migrated email account over the weekend. And then Monday morning, I finally get a call from this Cloud Solutions support team. I told them I don't use Office 365 for email. I don't use Outlook, and I use IMAP. And the guy at the first said, well, you don't need to do anything. That'll just work. And I go, it's not working. Oh, then he said, oh, you have to log in and use your temporary password. And it's like I did, and it still doesn't work. Oh, well, then you have to go in and delete your old IMAP account, add a new one, and then it'll work. And I go, I did that, and it's still the same thing. And then the guy basically hung up on me. Finally, later in the afternoon on Monday, this was like 72 hours after my email stopped, I get a call from just an 800 number. It didn't say Comcast, it just said 800 service on the caller ID. And it was this fellow. He told me, after, a little bit of back and forth, he said, search for 0365 space IMAP, and you'll get this page here. Applies to Office for Business, and these are the POP and IMAP settings for Outlook Office 365 for Business. Set up an account with outlook.office365.com, and I did that, and it worked. It was finally when I got to this web page that everything started to make sense, because you'll notice there's no Comcast here in the server name. It's outlook.office365.com. Yeah, if you're having trouble, if you use IMAP or POP with your Comcast business email, you need to use these settings right here for your continued access to email. But let's take a look again at that original Comcast email and try to translate that into English. Yeah, so this is, again, the original email I got. Apparently, what this means is that Comcast was running one of these hosted exchange servers inside of the Comcast domain to handle email. While there's no mention of POP or IMAP here, my take is that the POP and IMAP support was part of this hosted exchange email platform. Then they're talking about this migration from hosted exchange to Office 365. What that means is they're going from this exchange server inside of the Comcast domain to office365.com. That's the migration. Basically, Comcast is dropping email support and moving that support over to office365.com or Microsoft. You will maintain your comcastbiz.net email domain. We will migrate your services to the new Office 365. They did that. Going forward, Comcast Business will not be offering email boxes with internet service. And it looks like they will offer you 1 free month of your mailbox. I guess this is on the Microsoft Office 365 platform. Again, this whole email that they send out has no mention of POP or IMAP or anything other than Outlook/Exchange and Office 365. I bet they really had their marketing people craft these messages. Instead of saying Comcast Business is dropping email, we are migrating email over to Office 365. They're basically just forwarding all your email from your comcastbiz.net domain over to Office 365. And if you want to get that email over there, the charge for Microsoft email boxes will be per mailbox. So I guess then you got to pay to get your email out of Microsoft then. So yeah, that is a pretty sneaky, vaguely worded bunch of emails that they sent out, trying to paint that in a really rosy thing, like they're doing you a favor by dropping one of the main features that you chose to use business class internet. In the meantime, I've basically rerouted all my emails around Comcast and my custom domain, and I don't think at the end of a month, if Microsoft starts charging me for it, I'm going to try to cancel whatever it is I need to cancel to get this to stop, because this is at this point it's no longer of any use to me. And at this point it almost begs the question, if the main feature that I chose, Comcast Business, is now gone away, why am I still there? So I may be looking around for a different internet provider. But yeah, that was kind of a rant about this vaguely worded migration program from Comcast Business Class, making it sound like a really good thing, that they're doing you a big favor. And if you read between the lines, they're saying we're dropping email, and if you want to keep getting email, you've got to pay Microsoft. This cloud solutions support are only open to 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time, and I just question what kind of business class support is that. And if you haven't migrated yet, you really need to pay attention to those emails. So even though these emails say if you do not use Outlook to read emails, please disregard, what it comes down to is whether you use Outlook or not, you need to pay attention to all those emails. And the big one is get these new servers configured in your IMAP or POP email client, if you're using that. The old servers on Comcast are dead. They don't get any new messages sent to them. Anyway, if you have any questions about that, post up in the comments section below. If you have any other insight on this, quote, migration, post that up in the comments section as well. And as always, thanks for watching.